Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Simply Structural. In my previous videos, we discussed the basic concept of laterally supported beams and laterally unsupported beams and understood the difference between the two. We also discussed the complete design procedure for a laterally supported beam, including various strength and serviceability checks. So if you haven't watched those videos yet, I would recommend watching them first. I have provided the link in the description. In this video, we are going to take the next step and discuss the design of laterally unsupported beams as per IS 800 2007. The major difference here is that when the beam is laterally unsupported, we need to consider the possibility of lateral torsional buckling or LTB. So firstly, we are going to discuss the design bending moment for laterally unsupported beams. So as per the code, the design bending strength of laterally unsupported beams as governed by lateral torsional buckling is given by MD is equal to beta B ZP into FBD. So here in this formula, beta B is 1 for plastic and compact sections and beta B is ZE upon ZP for semi-compact sections. And ZP and ZE is the plastic and elastic section modulus of the section. FBD is the design bending compressive stress. So it is given by this formula, that is xi LT into Fi by gamma MO. So if you see the formula for laterally supported beams and laterally unsupported beams, the only difference in the formula is that there is one additional factor, that is xi LT, which is coming into picture for the design of laterally unsupported beams. So what is this xi LT? Xi LT is the bending stress reduction factor to account for lateral torsional buckling. Okay. So if you put FBD in this formula, the final formula that we will get is MD is equal to beta B ZP xi LT Fi by gamma MO. Okay. Now there are certain cases where the code suggests to proceed for laterally supported beam. Even if the beam is laterally unsupported, the code prefers to design that beam as laterally supported. So let's see what are those cases. So as per clause 8.2.2.1 of IS 800 2007, the clause permits the member to be treated as laterally supported if the beam is subjected to minor axis bending. So when the bending is about the minor axis of the section, lateral torsional buckling is not the governing mode. In this case, you can treat the beam as laterally supported. Next case, when the beam is a hollow section, so again the provisions does not apply to hollow sections and you can treat the beam as laterally supported and you can ignore lateral torsional buckling. Now, if you have watched my video on lateral torsional buckling, you already know that the lateral torsional buckling is caused due to major axis bending. So even there is lateral torsional buckling, the code is telling to ignore it when the slenderness ratio, that is lambda LT value, if it is less than 0.4, then the code is telling to ignore that beam and you can design that beam as laterally supported. Okay. So if the non-dimensional slenderness ratio lambda LT is less than 0.4, ignore LTB and treat that beam as laterally supported. So by meaning of treating that beam as laterally supported, we mean that there will be no bending moment reduction. So xi LT will be 1. Okay. Now, as you already know what is lateral torsional buckling, but just to have a quick recap, when the beam is subjected to a very high compressive load and as the beam is laterally unsupported, the beam will be moving laterally and it is also accompanied by a twisting moment. So this will cause lateral torsional buckling failure. Okay. Now Let's see how to calculate this bending stress reduction factor xi LT. As per the code, the value of this xi LT is given by this formula. So in this formula, phi LT is given by this formula, and alpha LT, which is the imperfection factor, as per the code it is given as 0.21 for rolled section and 0.49 for the welded section. So no need to worry about these formulas. All these formulas are given in the code. Okay, we just need to put the values and get the final value for the xi LT. Okay, again in this formula lambda LT is there. Okay, so this lambda LT is given by square root of beta b zp fi by mcr. So again this new additional parameter is introduced in this formula, that is mcr. Okay, what is mcr? Mcr is a elastic lateral torsional buckling moment. So elastic lateral torsional buckling moment as per IS 800/2007 is given by this formula. Okay, so again there are many parameters. So I, y and ry are the moment of inertia and radius of gyration respectively about the weaker axis or the minor axis. LLT is the effective length factor for lateral torsional buckling. HF is the center to center distance between flanges. So let me show you this. If this is your I section, then the center of this flange and the center of this flange. So this distance is HF. Okay, TF is the thickness of flange. Now to summarize the design workflow for laterally unsupported beam, follow this sequence. First of all, we will have some section data, that is geometry of the beam, length of the beam and the size of the beam, Fy. Then we will calculate elastic and plastic section modulus. We will have the radius of gyration. The first thing is we will classify the section. So the section can be plastic, compact, semi-compact or slender. That is from class 1 to 4. We will calculate the effective length, LLT. Then we will calculate the critical moment, MCR. Then we will calculate the value of lambda LT. Then we will calculate the reduction factors. So alpha LT, from that we can calculate phi LT, and then finally we will calculate the value of the reduction factor, that is xi LT. Okay. Then we'll calculate the bending strength. So that formula we already have seen, beta b zp into fbd. Okay, and finally the checks. So we'll first check whether the actual bending moment on the beam is less than the design bending moment or not. This is the main check. Then we also check the shear. The actual shear should be less than the design shear strength. We'll also check the slenderness ratio limit. So the actual slenderness ratio of the beam should be less than 400. So this limit is also given in the code, that is slenderness ratio limit for the beam subjected to a tensile load is 400. And apart from these three checks, we'll also check the combined interaction ratio. So what do you mean by combined interaction ratio? Combined interaction ratio means the combination of axial and the bending moment. So let's see what is the formula for that. So this you already know, right? Section classification. If you don't know the how to classify the section, you can watch my previous video on this. Now let's see how to check the interaction ratio for the combined axial force and bending moment. So in the design of members subjected to combined axial force, that is tension or compression, and bending moment, the following equation should be satisfied. So my upon mn dy to the power alpha 1 plus mz upon mn dz to the power alpha 2, it should be less than or equal to 1. What is my and mz? My is the minor axis bending moment, that is applied on the beam, and mz is the major axis bending moment that is applied on the beam. M and dy and m and dz are the design bending moments. Obviously, we are going to calculate the reduced flexure strengths considering the reduction factor xi lt. Alpha 1 and alpha 2 are the constants that are given in table 17 of IS 800 2007. So let's say our section is an I section. So for that, the value of alpha 1 is maximum of 5n and 1, and the value of alpha 2 is 2. Now what is this n? The value of n is given by n upon nd. So n is the factored axial force, it may be tension or compression, and nd is the design strength in tension or compression due to idling. Okay. What is nd? Design strength, right, of the beam in the tension or compression. So this design bending strength is also given, design axial strength is given by AgFi by gamma mo. Ag is the gross cross sectional area. Okay. Now in this equation, we also need to calculate the value of m and dy and m and dz. So how to calculate that? So if your n is less than 0.2, then value of m and dy will be equal to m dy. Okay. If it is more than 0.2, then it is given by this equation, which is dependent on n and m and dy. Okay. What is the formula for m and dz? So as per the code, it is given by this formula: 1.11 m dz 1 minus n, and in any case it should be less than or equal to m dz. Okay. So from this we'll get the combined interaction ratio. Now one doubt that you might be having in this combined axial force and bending moment equation is that why only moments are involved in this equation. So if you see, the axial force in this equation is introduced using this value of n. Okay, and this n is used in alpha 1 and alpha 2, and which are present over here. Okay, so the introduction to this axial force is done through this n value. Okay, so to summarize the steps, first of all we calculate the value of n, which is capital N upon nd. We'll calculate the value of alpha 1 and alpha 2. Based on that, we'll calculate the value of m and dy and m and dz. Then we'll determine the interaction ratio. So guys, this was the design procedure that is given in IS 800 2007 code. Let me open the code and show these formulas to you. First of all, you can go to chapter 8. So in that, if you scroll down in clause 8.2.1.2, the formula for MD is given: beta B ZP Fi by gamma mo. Okay. Then the formula for xi LT is also given over here. Okay. Then you have formula for lambda LT as well. Then you have the formula for the critical moment MCR. Okay. And you can go in section 9 of the IS code. Here the formula for the interaction between axial force and bending moment is given. So as per the clause 9.3, you can see the interaction formula, that is my by mn dy to the power alpha 1 plus mz by mn dz to the power alpha 2, and this value of interaction ratio should be less than or equal to 1. Okay. So guys, this was all about the design procedure for laterally unsupported beam. In the next video, we are going to take a practical example and we are going to design the beam in STAAD, and then we are going to verify the results of STAAD.Pro manually by preparing a generalized Excel sheet. So that's all for this video. If you find this content to be helpful, please do subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to stay updated. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.